Okay, so this is AEC lab first experiment, full wave rectifier. Okay, so this is the circuit diagram of full wave rectifier. This full wave rectifier is based on two diodes. As you can see, there are two diodes, D1 and D2. Okay, so the diodes are connected to a transformer. Okay, so transformer is your input, and the output is taken across the load resistor RL. So V0 is your output. Alright. Now if you observe the transformer, you can observe that the transformer secondary rating is 12 volt. Okay. On the other hand, your source voltage is 230 volt. Okay. So the rating of the diode is 12 volt. That is the reason you are using a step down transformer, which will reduce your voltage from 230 volt, which is your utility supply, to 12 volts. Alright. So this 12 volt is then connected to a pair of diodes, and output is taken across RL. Okay. Now let us show you the practical components of rectifier circuit. Alright. So this is the supply, which will come from phase and neutral terminal of your socket. Okay. So this 230 volt supply is given to the transformer. So this is the input winding of the transformer. This is rated at 230 volt. So primary winding is connected to 230 volt, and this is the secondary winding of the transformer. So here you can observe that there are three wires. So these three wires stands for phase, neutral and phase. So there are two phase terminals. Okay. So this phase terminal is rated at 12 volt. So voltage between this yellow wire and this black wire is 12 volt. Similarly, the voltage between the bottom yellow wire and the middle black wire is 12 volt. Okay. If you want 24 volts, then what you have to do is you have to connect the first yellow wire and the second yellow wire. So between the two yellow wires you will have 24 volts of supply. Between yellow wire and black wire, 12 volts. Okay. So the transformer output voltage is then connected to your rectifier circuit. So as you can clearly observe that there are two diodes. Okay, this is your first diode and this is your second diode. Okay. Now this diode belongs to 1N407 series. So terminal identification goes like this. The silver color stands for cathode and the black color stands for anode. Alright. So the anodes, okay, this is your diode 1 and this is your diode 2. Okay. So anode of first diode is connected to the phase terminal of the transformer. Alright. And the cathode of first diode, okay, this is the green wire, you can follow my hand, is connected to cathode of the second diode. Let me show you the circuit diagram here. This is what I was talking about. So cathode of first diode is connected to cathode of second diode. So this is what we have done in our circuit. Alright. And the load resistor, you can clearly observe that is connected to the cathode terminal of diode D1 and the 0 point of the transformer. Okay, let me show you in the circuit diagram. Okay. So this is the load resistor. As you can see, this load resistor is connected to cathode terminal of the diode. Okay. And the other end of the load, okay, is connected to the green wire, and this green wire is coming from 0 volt of the transformer. So this is the circuit diagram. Okay. Once the circuit diagram is done, then you are supposed to observe the output, right? So to observe the output, what we have done is we have used these special connectors. Okay, these connectors are called as crocodile clips. Okay, so these connectors are later on connected to a display device which is working as your oscilloscope. Okay, so this is called as DSO, digital storage oscilloscope. You can consider it as a graphical voltmeter. Okay, voltage readings, frequency reading, everything it shows in the form of a graph. All right, so this is meant for observing your output. Okay, fine. So what we have done is, you are interested in finding out the output voltage, right? So that's the reason what we have done. We have connected one output probe, okay, this is also called as probe, right across the load resistor. See, one end is connected to one end of the resistor, and this other end is connected to other end of the resistor. So that's what that's how you see the output. Similarly, you also want to see the input, right? That's the reason what we have done is, we have used one more probe, and this probe we have connected right across the input. Here you can see this is the input. Okay, see, this is your phase wire. Okay, so to the phase wire we have connected the channel. Okay, and yeah, channel 1, and the black one is your neutral part of the probe, is connected to the black terminal of the transformer, that is your 0 volt. Okay, so input channel is connected and output channel is also connected. Now let us observe some waveforms. So we'll power up the source. Okay, so as you can observe that the output some waveform has appeared in your system. As I have told you in the beginning, that one channel is working as input. So first one is channel 1 and the second one is channel 2. So channel 2 we have used to observe the output, and channel 1 we have used to observe the input. Okay, what I will do, I'll just disable channel 2. So this is the output what you see. So that this output is basically represents the transformer output voltage. Okay, so you can see that it is a sinusoidal signal. Okay, but it is not a pure sinusoidal signal. That's because whatever transformer we are using in the laboratory, they are not made up of highly efficient magnetic material. Okay, but for laboratory purpose, this waveform is pretty good enough. All right, so you can see the positive half of the waveform as well as negative half of the waveform, and you can also observe some values appearing on the screen. For example, the maximum value of the input voltage is around 18.8 volts. On the other hand, the frequency is 50 hertz, expected, right? Because it is our Indian supply voltage standard 50 hertz signal, and secondary voltage is 12 volt. Okay, that 12 volt is the RMS value, and whatever CRO or this DSO is showing you the maximum value. So 12 volt into root 2, if you multiply, you will get the maximum voltage. Okay, fine. So what I will do now, let me enable the output. Okay, so this is your output. As you can clearly observe, that full wave rectifier gives rippled output, right? So for positive half cycle also there is output, and for negative half cycle also there is output. Okay, so pretty clear, right? Green one is your output, yellow one is your input. Okay, so when your input is positive going, there will be a positive output, but when your input is negative going, for the negative going input you will also be getting a positive going output. That's the feature of half wave rectifier. All right, fine. Now what we have to do is, we have to just take down the basic measurements. Okay, measurements as in the maximum voltage of the output. So it shows the maximum voltage of the output is about 18.4 volts. Okay, 18.4 volts. Okay, fine. Okay, so this 18.4 volts or 18.0 volts doesn't matter. Slightly it varies because when your supply voltage varies, even your rectifier voltage will vary. Okay. Now this 18 volt is measured in the presence of load resistor, right? So that is called as load voltage. But just like transformer, even in rectifier we have something known as regulation, voltage regulation. So voltage regulation is defined as change in secondary terminal voltage from no load to full load. So full load voltage is 18.4 volt. I have shown you already. Now what I will do, I will remove this load resistor and then let us see how much voltage you will get it. Probably sir can show you live. Okay, sir, you can show them this part also. We will remove the load resistor. Okay, now we will see how that voltage has increased. Okay, so it's about 18.4 volts. Okay, so that means to say your no load voltage was 18 and your load voltage was 18 volt and your no load voltage is about 18.4 volt. So there is a difference of 0.4 volts because under no load voltage has to be more. That's because there will be no drop in the diode, right? Because under open circuit there will be no flow of current. Okay. Yes. So here you have only a load resistor, right? So for this load resistor you get a waveform of this kind, which is already been discussed. Okay, now this waveform is having lot of ripple. Okay, or you can say that it is consisting of many AC components, but for a good DC voltage there shouldn't be any ripples. Okay, so how do you eliminate this distortion or ripple? So this can be done using a simple circuit called as a filter circuit. Okay, so what I will do is I will connect a capacitor here. This is your capacitor. Well, let us place this capacitor right across the load. Okay, and Anand sir will show you how exactly the waveform changes. Anand sir can show the waveform. Now you see this is the waveform. I will place the capacitor and you see how the waveform shape changes. Okay, you can see, right? Earlier it was kind of in your output AC components used to be there. Now with the capacitor you can observe that the AC components have been most of the AC components have been eliminated and you are getting almost a straight line. This is not a perfect straight line because there is some maximum value and then some minimum value, then again it goes maximum, then minimum, so on and so forth. So this is called as with capacitor filter. Okay, now with the capacitor filter, two important readings we need to note down, that is maximum and minimum. Okay, so what we will do, we will go to measure. Okay, we will clear everything. So channel 2 is where we are observing the output. So I'll select maximum voltage, which is 17.2. Then I will also select the minimum voltage. Okay, so the minimum voltage is 15.2. Okay, in your previous circuit your minimum voltage was 0 volt, right? Because your waveform used to start from 0 volt, then hits the maximum value, then again it comes back to 0, so on and so forth. But with the capacitor filter you can limit the peak to peak difference. Okay, so this peak to peak voltage difference is called as the ripple voltage. Okay, so with the capacitor filter you can reduce the ripple voltage. In other words, with the capacitor filter you can reduce the presence of AC components in the output. Okay, so the summary of this particular experiment would be using a capacitor filter distortion can be minimized. Okay, so that's your summary. Okay, the calculation part I will teach you in the Google Meet classroom. Okay. So the next experiment is bridge rectifier circuit. So bridge rectifier circuit is also a full wave rectifier circuit. The only difference is that in case of bridge rectifier circuit we use 4 diodes. Okay, and the another difference is that the transformer whatever we are using in bridge rectifier will have only two terminals, phase terminal and the neutral terminal. Okay, for the previous experiment we had used three terminals of the transformer. Okay, so that is the second difference. First difference is 4 diodes in bridge rectifier, 2 diodes in the ordinary full wave rectifier. Second difference is that your bridge rectifier takes only 2 terminals of the transformer, and your ordinary 2 diode full wave rectifier takes 3 terminals of the transformer. And the third important difference is that the PIV rating of the diode, okay, peak inverse voltage rating of the diode. In case of bridge rectifier, PIV rating is lesser, and in case of full wave rectifier with the 2 diode arrangement will have higher PIV rating. Okay, higher the PIV rating, greater will be the diode cost. Okay, fine. So those are the major differences. Fine. Let's look at the circuit diagram. As you can clearly observe that there are 4 diodes, D1, D2, D3 and D4. D1 and D4, okay, you see how they have been connected. So anode terminals of D1 and D4 are connected together, right? On the other hand, the cathode terminal of D1 and anode terminal of D3 is connected together. Okay, and the common point is given to 12 volt terminal of the transformer. Similarly, on the opposite side, that is here, cathode of D4 is connected to anode of D2, and the common point is connected to 0 volt level. Okay, and across anode junction and across the cathode junction, a load resistor RL is connected. So this is the theoretical circuit layout. Okay, now let us see how exactly your experimental setup looks like. Okay, so Anand sir has already done the physical arrangement of the diodes. Okay, again, this is your transformer. This is the input terminal of the transformer, which is energized from 230 volt AC, and this is the output terminal of the transformer. Okay, since we are using a same transformer, so you can see the 3 terminals, but in your circuit we will not be using 3 terminals, we will be using only 2 terminals. You can see that, see, this terminal is not at all connected to the breadboard. So that's what I was mentioning in the beginning. Bridge wave rectifier uses only 2 terminals of the transformer. Okay, now let us look at the circuit diagram. Okay, now Anand sir will bring it very close to the board so that you will be able to see properly. Right, so this is my D1. Okay, this is my D1 and this is my D4. Okay, so you can clearly observe that anode terminals of D1 and D4 are connected together. On the opposite side you have the 2 cathodes, right? This is your D2 cathode and that's your D3 cathode. They have been connected together. On the top side we have the anode terminal of D1 and the cathode terminal of D3. Okay, they have been connected together, and that junction is connected to, see, this is the junction. Okay, let me just clear it off. Yeah, this is the junction. This junction is connected to phase terminal, that is the 12 volt terminal. On the opposite side, that is this side, you can see that cathode and anode is connected together, and the junction point, which is your green wire, is then connected to the 0 volt terminal of the transformer. So effectively you have used only 2 terminals of the transformer. Okay, fine. Let us see how exactly the load resistor is connected. So the load resistor is connected across the anode junction and the cathode junction. Here you are. Okay, see, cathode junction, the load resistor is connected, and the anode junction, okay, since anode junction is here, what we have used is we have used a jumper wire. So this jumper wire, see, yellow wire, we have taken from the resistor terminal and we have connected to the anode junction. Okay, that's how the physical setup looks like. And again, we have used a probe, okay, to observe the output. Okay. Okay. Okay, now let us see how exactly the output waveform looks like. Okay. See, as you can see, it's a full wave rectifier, so obviously you will have a pulsed output, right? You have a pulsed output, and the output is similar to your 2-diode full wave rectifier. Okay. Again, this output is taken in the presence of load resistor, so this will be the full load output, okay, which is about 16.8 volt, and if you remove the load resistor, you will get the no load value. Okay, what I will do, I will remove the load resistor. Just I'll remove one wire, that's sufficient. Okay. So for no load, you have to just remove the resistor as shown, okay, and that will give you a voltage which is slightly greater than the loaded value. Okay, the difference is about 0.4 to 0.5 volts. Okay, fine. So this is about the full wave rectifier output without capacitor. Okay, now there are a lot of ripples in the output waveform. Now I'll show you how exactly the capacitor, okay, will improve the wave shape of the diode. So let me place the capacitor. Okay, and you see, okay, this is without capacitor, and the moment I insert the capacitor, you see how the wave shape of the voltage changes. Okay, wave has become almost straight. That is what is required for full wave, the rectifier circuit. You should have line parallel to the x-axis. That shows the pureness of DC, but you don't get a perfect straight line. Some fluctuations you can observe. Okay, let's see how exactly you measure those fluctuations. Okay, so anyhow, maximum voltage is being displayed. What I will do, I will also display the minimum voltage. Okay, you can observe that the maximum voltage of this DC is 16.8 and the minimum voltage is 14.4 volts. So the difference between maximum and minimum is called as the ripple voltage, delta V. All right, so this is all about the conduction. Okay, so the calculation part, what I will do, I will conduct a Google Meet classroom, and in the Google Meet classroom, let me teach you how exactly you determine the performance parameters of a rectifier circuit. Okay, there are majorly two performance parameters: the conversion efficiency and the ripple factor. Okay, so see you in the Google classroom. Thank you.